Without further ado, I'm going to invite our first speaker, Sriman Acintya Gaura Prabhu, who is calling in from Brisbane, which is a city I know not that well, but I've visited, very beautiful part of the world, Prabhu. And our beloved godbrother, he met the devotees ISKCON in the late 70s. And he came to Gurudeva in 1998 and didn't hang around. He took Harinam and Diksha that very same year, and very auspiciously took Harinam and Diksha from Gurudeva. And he's hosted many preachers in Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji, and has also arranged for much book distribution to the same region of the world. So, Prabhu, we're very excited to hear your offering. It's a family gathering, so please relax and be inspired, and we are greatly and warmly welcoming you to our Gurudeva memories today. Thanks for tuning in. Hari Bol.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hopefully you can hear me.
Very well, actually. Very well.
So, Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshmitayena Tasmai Shri Gurudeva Shri Guru Gaura Chandaya Radhika Tadale Krishna Krishna Bhakta Tada Bhakta Namo Namaha. So first I'd like to offer my unlimited obeisance lotus to my group Padma, Nittalila Paisham Vishwapad Bhaktivinoda and Narayana Gosvami Maharaj, on the lotus feet of Srila Nittalila Bhakti Vigyam Bharati Goswami Maharaj, the Rupanuga Guru Varga, and all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas that are present. And also, so I'm very grateful to get the opportunity to speak something about Srila Gurudeva's qualities, and it gives, at least for me, forces me to think about Gurudev's qualities. So at least to thank you very much for my own purification. So thank you very much for that. So I was lucky. I mean, I was born in Fiji, so I was fortunate. So where we stayed was very close to an ISKCON temple. So while I was not a devotee, I had opportunities to get some good impressions of being in ISKCON, going to Sunday programs, following Ekadasi, following the festival Janmashtami, offering deep lamp, doing Karti and so forth. So I had these good impressions of at least some scars came. So later, I did my education, went to Australia and New Zealand, did my education, came back to Fiji. So when I was, in 1998, with the help of Jagannath Prabhu, his brother Kanti Prabhu invited Gurudeva to Fiji in early 1998. So we were neighbors to Kanti Prabhu. So that we were lucky that we could, at that time, invited us to come and meet Gurudev. So we got very attracted to his Harikatha. And then with the encouragement of Jagannath Prabhu, he told us that he is not different from Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and not to make the same mistake that he did, not taking initiation even if we get opportunity. So he encouraged that a lot. So by, we got attracted, and while we're not following the four regulatory principles, Gurudeva was very, very merciful. He said, no, he didn't look at any of our bad qualities. He just said, I've come with a heavy load. So I'm not sure if I'll come back to Fiji or not. So I like to leave all my load here. So he said, okay, I'll give you Harinam. So whatever I done yesterday, whatever I done till yesterday, give it up. And then, so he's really so compassionate and not looking at any of our bad qualities. We did not have any good qualities, but just wanted one thing, that just to be sincere to him. So he very mercifully gave us Harinam and Gopal mantra. So at the time he told us that please at least chant 8 rounds. So then someone mentioned that, ISKCON might complain, that they might criticize you, saying that at least we are doing 16 rounds. But then Gurudev said, no, my disciples will be chanting 64 rounds. So then, Gurudev gave it impression that at least in some stage of your life to chant 64 rounds. So then he stayed, I think he stayed for only 6-7 days. So then he left. So then, by association with other devotees, we were encouraged to come for Kartik at the same year. So I've never been to India before that. So I came to Kartik and with my mother as well. So we just came. And so we came to Kartik. So then at the time, Gurudev, even without asking, Gurudev gave me Diksha. So very mercifully, he did not even say what how many rounds are you chanting? I mean, what he did not take an examination like different societies do, not take exam, but he was very merciful, gave us. So over there, by we could see his qualities. So he was so much involved that he wanted us to do parikramas properly. Like he has so much faith in the words of Narad Muni that when he got the mercy, when he got a boon from Krishna, that whoever came to Vraj, listening, going to different places, and listening to getting a mercy from the dust, that surely you get Krishna Prem. So very nicely, Gurudev gave that enthusiasm to come to Kartik yearly every year. So by that mercy, then, so we got that impressions of coming to Kartik. What is the goal of life? Then later, then we were fortunate after Kartik in early '99, he came to Fiji again, and this time he stayed for almost a month in Fiji. So we had more chance to associate with him. See just not his Harikatha, but also his personal practices that he did. So we were, that time plus different times as well. We noticed that he was always engaged in doing something, whether it's chanting, giving classes, or reading, and also so merciful that he did not want to inconvenience anyone. But whenever he went, he just won affection of the people, local people. I remember one time he was giving a class in a place called Lambasi. It's a different island in Fiji. So he's giving a place and he's giving Harikatha for 4 or 5 days. He gave Harikatha there. So in the end of that week, the devotees and the local people came and gave him some money. And then Gurudev, then because that temple it was an old temple, it's almost kind of worn down. So then Gurudev actually gave the money back to the management and asked them to fix up the place. So and then the management said, this is the first sadhu that came and gave us money back to us for our society. So Gurudev, it was very easily with actions we could see that how he pleased, just pleased everyone. He knew how to win their hearts. And also by the sweet Harikatha, the Siddhanta he spoke, especially he visited a couple of times the ISKCON temple. And the main topic was speaking about what did Mahaprabhu actually came to give, not just Nam Sankirtan. Actually, what did his 3 desires to relish, and also what he wanted to give to everyone. This Rupanuga, the mode of the worship of Rupanugas. So, very nicely spoke about that. So then we are quite lucky in being his association, that impressions also came to us. And then we could see how he was affectionate to everyone, what he came to give to everyone. I remember one time later in I think 2005, some devotees from ISKCON came, and he came and told Gurudev, yes, please, that we want to come and see you, but ISKCON actually is not, is trying to stop us coming to you. Then Gurudev said, yes, actually I don't want to make disciples. I'm not even keen to take money. Only thing I want to do is give Harikatha. So that was his mode, just to speak Harikatha, make people understand what is the goal of life. Why have you come? And then even when he gave Diksha, it was one time I think Sripad Damodar Maharaj asked him that even some people are not qualified to take, like you are giving Diksha, that some people are not qualified to give Diksha. Then Gurudev said that there are 2 types of devotees. One who is qualified to take Diksha, and one who I'm giving Diksha to make them qualified. So always that merciful, that he just being so compassionate to others that whoever came to him, showed his mercy, being generous to them, that he was never inconvenienced anyone. So then later, also some of the instruction that Gurudev gave, especially especially from the beginning, one of the first instruction he gave was always accept what was favorable to bhakti and reject what was not favorable to bhakti. Also give practical examples, like one time when he's leaving Fiji, in an airport, he has mentioned that just like a shopkeeper always counts the money at the end of the day, similarly, you should always remember how much rounds you're chanting, so that in the end of the day, you should know that whether you increase your rounds or not. So you always emphasize on chanting your rounds. Following rules and regulations, we saw whenever Gurudeva is so attentively doing it, Tulsi, putting Tulsi tilak, also the Tulsi parikrama. Brajanath Prabhu used to ask us, whenever to bring the Tulsi upstairs to his room so that Gurudeva could do his Tulsi parikrama. So you could see that how attentive he was to different items, all this punctuality also. And then also one time he went to a devotee's, a local people's place, and the daughters were getting married. So he gave them nice instruction about marriage. He gave them 4 instructions. He said, no, live an honest life. Don't divorce. But also in marriage, there will also be problems. So don't, whenever you're getting problems, always take a help from your parents. And also daily chant the Lord name. So you give practical examples as well. So very nicely did that, So, and I remember one time, it was in 2008, and Gurudeva actually became very sick and he was hospitalized. So at that time, Sripad Madhavana asked me if I could take some time off from work, so at least I could drive devotees going to the hospital and so forth. So then when I told Gurudeva I'll be taking a sick leave, the Gurudeva said, no, we can manage. You don't need to give up your work and just spend time with me. So in that way, it's very quite practical. He did not want to inconvenience me. So all this activity, you could see that how much he was so merciful to others. And then also in terms of what teachings he gave us, so much emphasis he gave us of why are we here? What is the reason? What is the mission of Mahaprabhu? What is teachings of, especially spend a lot of time also giving teachings of Sanatana Goswami Pad, the different types of devotees, starting from Prahlad Maharaj, and then going to Hanuman, now is Amrish Maharaj, Hanuman, Uddhav, and so the Pandavas and Uddhav. So and then later the Gauris of the Gopis. Always not finish whenever he spoke Harikatha, always emphasizing on what is our goal, what is Radha Dasam, that impression that we want to be made servants of Radha Rani. Also, and like you gave an introduction as well, what is the main teachings of Rupa Goswami? So much of love he had for Rupa Goswami. This was one of his favorite festivals. So much enthusiasm to follow the festival of Rupa Goswami, the qualities of Rupa Goswami. How much enthusiasm he had. He had all these different kinds of scholars coming over and speaking about Sri Rupa Goswami Pad. And the impression he gave us, how important Rupa Goswami Pad was. And especially in the beginning, when Gurudeva used to go to Western countries, he used to also speak about what is Uttam Bhakti. Almost every class you could hear, you hear that, and at least he spoke about what is Uttama Bhakti, what is the goal, and at least, like you said, it is like a barometer of what devotional service we are doing. And then, so all these impressions he gave us about what's the reason, why do we have to do bhakti, what is Rupa Goswami's mission, what is, even used to say, why do you make Gaudiya Math? Is to follow the teachings of Rupa Goswami. Why do you understand what Gaudiya Math is to say? To follow the teachings of Rupa Goswami. So I remember one time when I was in Mauritius, and whenever any devotee would come, Srila Gurudeva asked him, what is the relationship to Krishna? What is the relationship to Mother Yashoda? And then, because generally we accept that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God, but Gurudeva's mood was no. Krishna is the beloved of our Swamini Srimati Radharani. And what is the relationship with our Mother Yashoda? So you would say that no, just like, because to Radharani, Mother Yashoda is like a mother-in-law. So therefore our mood should be similar to that. So giving all these moods, that, the real impressions that he gave us. So I remember one time that when Gokul Prabhu asked Gurudeva, in one of the morning walks in Australia, Gokul Prabhu from Perth asked him, Gurudev, my heart is full of lust, and I got so much anarthas in me. But how will it go? How will I do bhakti? Then Gurudeva asked him that, if Krishna gives to Vaikunt, would you like to go to Vaikunt? Then Gokul said, no. He said, would you like to go to Ayodhya? He said, no. Would you like to go to Dwaraka? He said, no. Where would you like to go? He said, I'd like to stay in Vrindavan. So at least, and then Guru said, at least in this lifetime, you should have this impression that, yes, I want to become the maid servant of Radharani and also to stay in Vrindavan. So we could see that, that it is impression, that the strong impression, if you can see that for all the devotees of Gurudev, this, even wherever you're from, if you don't understand English, still the impression came, yes, we want to be the maid servant of Radharani. And also Gurudev, by his own practical example, how to save his own Gurudev, so much Guru Nishtha here. Gurudev used to say that, Guru Nishtha is the backbone of bhakti. We could see that, so much Guru Nishtha here. And how he saved his Gurudev. We have heard all these stories. One time in just 2002 or 2003, and it was in Sydney. So Srila Gurudev, he was leaving Sydney to go to Hawaii, and then to write his books, and then he would then go to US. So that it was 1 week before Ram Navami. So then a devotee asked him, "Oh Gurudev, why don't you say 1 week why don't you celebrate Ram Navami with us?" Because as some devotees would know, Gurudev used to worship Lord Ram as well. So then he said, okay, then he asked Vajranath Prabhu that can we stay longer in Sydney? And can we extend our date in Hawaii? Then Vajranath Prabhu said, no, we cannot change the dates there. Then Gurudev said, no, I need to go and do my seva to my Guru Parampara, my Gurudev. So then he said, no, I have to go write the books. So you can see that, so much enthusiasm he had to save his Gurudev. So hopefully, we can hopefully learn something from that, and at least some class can come. So I like to end my offering here. One chakalpakaruvesta kripa sindhuvacha patitanam pavinebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo.
Wow, you covered so much. You have more time. You covered so much ground in such a small amount of time. That was really beautiful. I think what's amazing about these Gurudev memories, and the reason why we're going to continue them, so once we get to the end of 64, we're going to start again, but call it Guru Memories, and we're going to include all the 15 Mahabhagavats and get disciples from all the Sanghas offering their Pushpanjali to their Guru, is that when we worship our Guru, I mean, it's same and different when we listen to someone else glorifying their Guru. There's a sameness and a difference in terms of our glorification of our Guru. Of course, there's a certain intimacy when it's the same personality that is my Guru that you're worshipping. But there's something in it that's like always ever fresh. So whatever you're saying about my Gurudev, even though I may have heard it before, it's ever fresh in my heart by listening to you, which is why personally I get inspired every week by listening to these offerings. And I wanted to say that in relation to how you started out, because you said, oh, I'm doing it to purify myself. Yes, you are purifying yourself, but in the process, you're giving me and you're giving everybody else here also a chance, not only purification, but a chance for deeper connection, which is hugely appreciated. And I really loved what you said about how Gurudev looked. Actually, Gurudev, I'm going to put one word I'm going to take from what you said and add an extra word. You said about how Gurudev just looked for our sincerity. And I'm going to say he did look for our sincerity and not necessarily for our qualification externally. I was always conscious of how, with me and with other people, how he kind of saw us. He saw the finished product. He saw what we were going to be like, or he saw who we intrinsically are, even though we don't recognize it ourselves. And he could see that ounce of sincerity, and you only needed a tiny ounce of sincerity, and there was something for him to utilize, something for him to engage with, which is I think the flavor you brought out. And then I really loved the way you described how he behaved, how he gave us a certain mood in terms of connecting with Parampara and with the line of Rupanugas. And it reminds me of something I came across the other week, where if somebody has a very clear intention in their life, then they know what their attention is going to be focused on. From intention comes attention, and from intention and attention comes flow. Everything flowed. And if you watched how Gurudev ran his daily program, how he did everything was a clear intention, a clear attention, and everything flowed always beautifully. And I think you really encapsulated that in in your sharing by explaining how he was so merciful, how everything he did, whether it was, you know, when he was traveling, when he was writing his books, everything he did was in such an orderly way, with so much nishtha and so much service to his Gurudev. And yet at the same time, while it was so disciplined, it also was always guided by love and always guided by mercy and always infused with compassion. So Prabhu, thank you so much. That was really beautiful. And I hope you're happy with your offering.
Thank
Although I know we're not
you.
allowed to say we're happy with our offering, so.